Hello. For those of you who have not had the pleasure of meeting me, I am Brandon's younger brother, Blake. And apparently today he's getting married. And I was supposed to prepare a speech, but I thought this was just one big elaborate prank. Growing up, Brandon and I have always been very close. To this day, one of our favorite pastimes is playing games with each other. The first game Brandon and I ever played when we were young was, let's convince Blake I have superpowers and use it to manipulate him into doing whatever I want. In this game, he would use static electricity to shock me and convince me he had the power of lightning. Brandon and I spend most of our days watching TV, playing games, chatting for hours on end, recording weird songs we'd written, watching UFC on Saturday nights, and going out to eat. He's never just been my older brother, but a best friend. And I'll have to work on ways to sneak him out of the house so we can continue these activities. I'll fast forward past our relationship to the days leading up to Brandon asking out Hannah. They lived a bit away from each other, so they communicated via video messages. And these messages, our family would often try to interrupt or do things in the background to frustrate him, such as begging Hannah to date our brother or the occasional kissing gesture, etc., etc. Brandon and I had talked about when he was going to ask her out, and he'd made a plan. Leading up to the big day, when Brandon was going to finally ask out Hannah, his face began to break out with blisters all over his lips because of how nervous he was. This may have been God's way of easing the temptation of kissing before marriage. Once Brandon had come back from asking out Hannah, we all asked him how it went. She said yes. And the family threw a week-long feast with music and shows. You just had to be there. We wondered how Brandon had asked the question, and here's how that story went from Hannah herself. Quote, he said that he enjoys my company and wants to pursue a relationship with me where we get to know each other better. Then he hopped in his car and left. And there was nothing more said that evening. I don't know how much experience Brandon has with stealing, but I am glad he was somehow able to steal Hannah's heart. When trying to think of things to poke fun of Hannah for, not much comes to mind. She's sweet, funny, and only ever pleasant to be around. However, she is known for her sayings. We have classics like, "What in the bear's oil?" or "Poop in a bucket." Personally, I have no clue what either of these sayings mean, or where they come from, but it's always a good treat when you get to hear a new one. About a month ago, Brandon, Hannah, Madison, my little sister, and I all went out to play a couple games of pool. Brandon and Hannah were on a team, while Madison and I were on a team. Brandon is known for being a bit particular about how things get done, and when things do not get done the correct way, he tends to go on rants. Anyways, whenever it was Hannah's turn to play, Brandon would tell Hannah, "You have to hit the ball like this," as if there was no other possible options. And while Brandon did this, Madison and I were teasing Brandon about going on a miniature rant over a game of pool. But I noticed in the corner, Hannah smiling and giggling, almost as if she found Brandon's rants to be cute. I don't know how many of you here today had the pleasure of hearing one of these infamous rants, but cute is about the last word I would use to describe it. For someone to look at that quality and not just be able to bear it, but to find it cute leads me to the conclusion that God has made someone for everyone today, and we get to witness a prime example of that. Seeing the way these two complement each other has set an example for me and others of what a relationship should look like. Hannah, you've already been a part of my family for a while now, and I'm glad we've made it official. Brandon, you are my best friend. And I'm glad, don't laugh at me, and I'm glad that you found the person for you. As Hannah might say, I hope this marriage leaves y'all grinning like a possum eating a sweet cake. Congratulations, I love you guys, thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to follow that up. All right, hi, I'm Haley. I'm maid of honor, and I'm glad you're all here today. Today is a very special day, and I'm honored to be standing by Hannah's side as she gets married, because she is truly one of the best friends I've ever had, and I'm so happy she's found a man that loves her as well as Brandon does. So I met Hannah in General Chemistry 1 at SBU during college, and the shared trauma of that class really brought us together. And not only did we end up in a lot of the rest of the same classes, we also lived in the same apartment for about a year and a half. which was a lot of fun. We did survive a lot in that time, including some really crazy roommates, a lot of black mold, and having to move with like 2 days notice because of COVID. But we made it through, and we continued to be friends afterwards, which I kind of didn't expect because I didn't think I'd be lucky enough to remain friends with my roommate from college. Like, I don't know. So, yeah, it was unexpected to me, but I'm glad we're still friends, and Hannah's probably one of the sweetest friends I've ever had, and I can't wait to watch her experience married life. I met Brandon when I was actually with Hannah, judging a science fair at Wheatland, and I really wasn't too sure about Brandon at first. He seemed kind of like a know-it-all nerd, and I was like, all right, well, okay. So I was pretty surprised when a few years later, Hannah told me that they were still talking and then they were dating. I was like, oh, all right. This is a surprise. But watching Brandon and Hannah grow together with each other and fall in love has been really, really sweet to watch. Somehow I kind of had a feeling, I just knew after a couple months of them dating that this was it. They were going to get married. It was too perfect. So, yeah. Hannah has found in Brandon what I think every woman wants to find. A man who is kind, caring, passionate, and who will lead his house well. Brandon has found in Hannah a woman who will love endlessly and nurture her home so well, including her many plants. So Brandon, take care of Hannah and love her because she will draw her life from you and give it back to you tenfold. Hannah, respect and love Brandon. He'll take care of all you need. I wasn't putting on tonight. So I'm really excited for you both to start your lives together. Marriage is one of the most rewarding adventures in life. So remember to be kind and patient with each other, love and respect each other, and have fun. Marriage is fun. It's not always going to be easy, but it will always be worth it. So congratulations, and may the Lord bless you in your union.
Hannah blessed me with the amazing honor of giving a speech. So hello everyone, welcome to the reception. As you may or may not know, I am Hannah's younger sister, Rachel. Now I must preface this by saying I was warned not to say anything sarcastic, so I will try my very best to hold back. A family always has a nosy child, so I took it upon myself to be that child. Being the youngest, it just fits best under my description. So this has led to disastrous finds and good ones. But today I want to share a sweet story about Hannah and Brandon. To give a little background, Hannah was living in Texas. This was more early on in their dating relationship. Mom and Dad and I would try to visit as often as we could to try to close the distance. On one of these trips, Brandon came along. Brandon stayed in the apartment attached to the garage. So me, being a good daughter, was getting something out of the freezers in the apartment. In an instant, I turned into a good sister when I saw a letter near Brandon's stuff. Details of if it was in his bag and I dug it out is beside the point, memory's kind of fuzzy. But my sister had written him a letter for when he arrived. Everybody say, "Aw." I thought it was pretty cute until I read this line that will forever be ingrained in my mind. Hannah wrote, "When I look to the future, I see us." In that moment, I knew Hannah was serious about Brandon. I knew he had stolen her heart and fully understood the depth of love Hannah had for Brandon. Hannah has always been my light. Growing up in the same room has led us to have an unbreakable connection. This is really gross, sorry everyone. She is always a positive one in the mornings, always looking for the good. She has always loved family and the bond our family has. Hannah has always been the beautiful soul craving for and making connection with others. She is a ray of sunshine in any dark room. Brandon, take care of her and that precious light she holds within her. She gave you her heart quickly and will continue to always give you her best. In closing, I'd love for everyone to unite in prayer over this new couple. Reach out a hand or whatever. Dear Lord, thank you for the unifying act of marriage and its display of Christ in the church. Thank you for being all-powerful. We come to you together in prayer over Hannah and Brandon. Lord, I humbly ask that you protect this bond and strengthen their marriage. Please give Brandon wisdom in how to love Hannah like you love the church. I pray for your strength to be within Hannah as she godly submits to Brandon. Thank you for the unification of family. We praise you. In Jesus' holy and powerful name I pray. Amen.